we are going to go into approach anxiety, and we're going to go into intense detail. In this training, I'm going to break down for you how to beat approach anxiety and how to not let it control you, because we all as men want to connect with women. You see a girl at a bar, you're in a cafe getting some work done, you see a girl there. Let's say you're a student and you're in the library, you see an attractive woman. You are in a nightclub partying with some friends, you see a woman, you want to talk to her. It could be that you're at work, you have your fucking job, and there's the cute chick who walks by reception all the time that works on a different floor. Well, everyone's working from home, so maybe not, but approach anxiety is a thing that happens a lot. It comes up in our day-to-day lives as men because you want to connect with women that are around you. Hey, it could even be like on a date, a girl you already know, a girl you're already talking to, you're seeing her but you feel anxiety being around her. Okay, in this training we're going to cover all things anxiety, and I'm telling you, this training you're about to watch is going to be the best training that you ever see, ever in your life, on YouTube at least, on how to handle, how to overcome, and how to beat approach anxiety. But we're not going to handle this in a conventional way. We're going to actually learn a principle that transcends, that supersedes what a lot of people teach about this, because I've dealt with approach anxiety for years, and I dealt with it when I first started dating. I dealt with it even after I learned dating skills, and then I eventually reconciled and I learned about approach anxiety the right way. And what I'm going to give you is the best solution for how you can handle approach anxiety. I'm really excited for this one. Let's go ahead and get into it. But before we start with the training, I have to tell you one thing. If this training that you're about to watch makes sense to you and you're like, hey, this is worth paying even $1 for. Like, you know what? This is so good that I would buy a fucking dollar pizza in New York City, and I would give that $1 to Tim to teach me this training. I think it's worth that. Well, you know what that $1's worth? It's worth you pressing the subscribe button. So if you learn from this training at any point, and I have earned your subscribe, equivalent to $1, press the subscribe button, because that would mean a whole lot to me, and you can be notified of when I upload more things to this channel and when I give out free information that's going to help you crush it in life. So let's go ahead and get into it. So here's the thing. The first problem that people have when it comes to approach anxiety, that men have, this is the reason why it's so difficult to beat approach anxiety. I'm not kidding. This is going to blow your mind. The problem is that most men say, I have to beat approach anxiety. That's the problem. When you say, I have to beat approach anxiety, what you're telling yourself is that it's me versus the approach anxiety. And I will explain why this is a problem in a second. So we're not going to start off in this training with beat approach anxiety, trust me, because it doesn't work. In fact, you're never really going to beat approach anxiety unless you have certain tendencies, things going on in your brain where you feel zero social pressure ever. You're not going to beat approach anxiety. And if you do, or if you are that kind of person where you feel zero social pressure ever, good for you. That's an exceptional skill. It could mean other things are going on, but we're not going to get into that. I'm not going to act as your therapist, but you want to be able to handle approach anxiety, but the goal is not me versus my anxiety. I'm going to beat approach anxiety. The first thing we need to do, there's 2 steps here. The first thing we need to do is understand approach anxiety, okay? So instead of us just thinking, let me beat it, we have to understand it. And there's 2 things that I'm going to give you. There's 2 kinds of approach anxiety, and then I'm going to explain to you why it happens, okay? So there's 2 kinds of approach anxiety. The first kind of approach anxiety is called identity-based anxiety. And this means I am not good enough. It's where you have this thought when you see a woman, you want to talk to her. It could be in public, it could be in a more private setting, it could be a nightclub, a bar, during the day, anywhere. You see an attractive woman, you want to go get to know her real quick, say what's up. The thought of identity-based anxiety is I'm not good enough, right? I'm not good enough to talk to this woman, and some way me communicating with this woman in this moment is going to reinforce the idea in my head that I'm not good enough because she's going to give me a negative response. That's identity-based approach anxiety. The second kind is what we call status-based approach anxiety. Status-based approach anxiety is others will think I'm not good enough, right? That's a big one. Where not just me, it's not me. Like, I know I'm good enough. I'm relatively confident. I know who I am as a person, but people around me are going to see me, and I care a lot about what they think. And I personally I'm going to be fine, but I'm sure I'm like nervous that my social integrity or my social placement is going to be compromised because of what other people see when they look at me approach this girl. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but other people are looking. I'm going to look bad in front of others, and I'm going to be at risk in some way. What I want you to do is drop below in the comments which kind of anxiety you have, because I'm sure you've dealt with approach anxiety at some level, right? Like whatever level it is that you've had when it comes to talking to women where you feel those nerves come up, where is yours? And this doesn't mean you can't talk to women, because there's guys who can talk to women, but you have approach anxiety. But where are you at? Are you more of an identity-based anxiety, or are you more status-based anxiety? Let me know in the comments and we'll chat it out. So number 2 is, why does this happen? So understanding anxiety comes down to 2 parts, knowing which anxiety it is and why it happens. So the first thing is I want you to give yourself a little bit of credit. That's the first thing, because uncomfortable action causes massive discomfort. So a lot of guys like rationalize, like, why do I have approach anxiety? I shouldn't feel this way. When I work with clients on our live programs, I have people come out and train with me either in a city in Europe or in a city in the US. And we do live training. We go out and meet women together. We practice social skills together, and we practice leadership and communication. And one of the things that comes up when men have anxiety on my live programs is they're like, I feel anxiety, and as a result of that anxiety, I'm judging myself because I have the anxiety, right? If I didn't have the anxiety, I'd be fine. If I didn't have the anxiety, I'd be fine. But because I have this approach anxiety, something must be wrong with me. That's the first problem. So I want you to give yourself credit and realize that uncomfortable action causes massive discomfort. Like, when I'm going to give you guys kind of a secret here. I mean, I've talked about this before, but not a lot of people know this, and it's weird to talk about maybe. But when I teach, when I'm with clients and on one of these live training programs, we go to kind of quality venues where there's a lot of attractive women. And when I'm on these programs, I often will demonstrate and I'll interact with girls with my clients. So I'll go out and we'll be at like a table maybe, or we'll be by the bar, and I'll talk to some of the most attractive women in the place with my clients so they can see how it's done. They can see me interacting with women, getting physical, leading, setting things up, setting up dates. They can see me do this in person. Do you think I get anxiety when I do this? My programs are thousands of dollars. To work with me in person is quite a lot of money. So, well, not a lot for the value, but it is not cheap. So like, do you think that my clients feel anxiety? I feel anxiety when I have to demonstrate in front of a client? Of course I do, because there's a guy who's paid thousands of dollars right there who's watching me talk to a beautiful, perfect body, blonde, brunette, whatever color woman, right? And I'm like, fuck, I have to make this work. I mean, I've gotten rejected, sure, and it doesn't usually look like rejection because who cares? But it's just that feeling of like, I want to be the guy who's teaching dating really, really well. Is there anxiety there? Absolutely. So I still have anxiety because it's an uncomfortable action and it causes massive discomfort. But I'm going to talk to you about the other side in a second. So the other reason why approach anxiety happens is because it's a protection mechanism to maintain your internal and external status or safety. That's what it is. It's a protection mechanism. So what happens is you're out in an environment and you have a certain status to maintain, which is I'm normal, I fit in, I'm accepted by the group. So when you go and meet a woman, when you go and talk to her, you're putting yourself at risk for being ostracized from the group if that woman determines your social value is in some way compromised. Now, what's funny is this is an evolutionary part of your brain working. That's not your real, that's not helping you in that moment. You feeling nervous because an attractive woman may say, I don't like you, doesn't actually serve you, but it does serve your evolutionary brain. Because years ago, if you were not, I mean, a long fucking time ago, before any of us existed, like, if you were ostracized from the group because you tried to get with like the woman who had, or the person who had more status with you, in that situation, you would be ostracized from the group and you'd be out of the tribe. So you don't want to risk being out of the tribe. This is what happens. So what I want you to understand is when you're out interacting with women, those same mechanisms are there. These protection mechanisms have to play it safe, have to not risk any danger. I can't be the guy who stands out because I have to be the guy who fits into the group. That's the protection mechanism. And it helps you maintain your internal and external status. Now, what's really funny is these protection mechanisms don't help you at all in today's society because you're at no risk. No one's going to hurt you. You can be out of a group in a club for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, have people look at you in a Starbucks cafe because you approached a girl and it didn't go well. Nothing is going to fucking happen to you. You'll be fine. But your brain doesn't know that. Your evolutionary brain is like, no. We will not be able to have food or shelter because the group hates us. The remnants of your brain are still going to be there. It's not going to go away. So that's the second reason. The third reason is you've associated negative assumptions about it, right? So what you've done is you've begun to associate, because I have anxiety, there must be something wrong with me. It's like, if I have the anxiety, I'll go ahead and write it on the board for a second. This is really important. So what most guys feel, this is the problem. Most guys are like, if I have anxiety, we'll write it here, anxiety, right? So if I have the anxiety, what that means is that me, little stick figure guy here, I am not okay and I'm bad because I have the anxiety. So what I have to do is I have to get rid of the anxiety and I have to come out again without any anxiety. And once I come out without the anxiety, this version of me is the good one and this version of me over here is the bad one. That's how most guys think. Most of us think this way, and I used to think that way too. I'd go out because I wanted to meet some women, I wanted to get a phone number, I wanted to approach some girls, make some cool connections, and I would have this anxiety, and what would I do? I'd tell myself, I'd say, I have anxiety, so something must be wrong. Girls must not like me, or I must be not able to talk to women because I have this anxiety. But transcending that is how you get better. Transcending that is how you get to the next level. Here's what we're going to talk about now. We're going to go into how you can actually navigate through the anxiety. But before we do that, I want to tell you something. If you ever want to work with me, and I work with people for a year, I have a program that lasts literally 1 fucking year. There's 2 ways you can apply to be a part of this program. Number 1 is watch a training where I explain a 4-step system and how you can meet women really effortlessly and the right way. That the link to that system is down below. It's completely free. Just press a button. The training is yours. You can watch it, and then there's going to be an invitation for you to book a call. Or you can skip that and directly go to set up a call with me. You and I are going to chat, and we're going to see if you're a good fit to join this system that I have. It's called Lifestyle Mastery Consulting, or LMC, to join my LMC program, which is a year-long consulting program where you're going to work with me to change everything about your communication skills, everything about your mindset, and everything about your ability to attract the kinds of women and the kinds of people you want in your life. So if you think that could be a good fucking idea, if you think it could be a good idea to get these kind of results and change the way you interact with the world and build your dream lifestyle, as I have done, and I have invested hundreds of hours, actually thousands of hours learning this shit like a fucking nerd. I've spent time doing this. If you think that could be a good idea, click one of the links below. Either watch the system, see if it sounds good to you, and then book a call, or skip that if you already have enough trust with me here and book a call. And we're going to talk super fast for about half an hour. We're going to see if it's a good fit for you to be in part of this program, be a part of our system. And if it is, from both sides, we'll get you in and we'll start getting you some results. And if it's not, hey, we're going to part as friends. No worries. If you ever need anything, just reach out. But just, those are your 2 options. If you think this could be something for you, and if you want these results, check out the links right below this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. Step number 2 of how to actually transcend approach anxiety, how to get past it. Again, we're not talking about beat it, like me versus the anxiety, but how to transcend it, how to navigate it. Step number 2 is this: you stop fighting the anxiety. A lot of men do this. The more you fight the anxiety, the more power you give it. The more you fight your anxiety, the more power you give it. And I'll tell you something else. This is crazy. Fighting anxiety causes an internal struggle. It causes internal struggle that's significantly harder for you to get results with. Fighting your approach anxiety causes an internal struggle that makes it significantly harder for you to get results. I'm saying it twice because I want you to hear this and pay attention. So a lot of men make this mistake, and I see this all the time. I've worked with hundreds of clients across many different cities, in person and virtually, like a lot. And I've seen this happen every time. The guys who do the best on my programs, the guys who come to LMC and transform, the guys who come to my live coaching and transform, here's what happens. There's 2 categories. Everyone's got approach anxiety. Everyone's like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. And I have to motivate them. I have to show them the way. I have to give them a path. That's my fucking job. But here's what happens. You have one category of guys who's like, oh, I can actually handle this. My fucking laptop's dying. One category of guys that's like, oh, I can handle this even with my anxiety. The guys who are able to take action with the anxiety are the men who end up attracting amazing women and end up creating really great relationships and making some badass connections and sleeping with some super cool girls either on the program or the next couple weeks or months following that program. Whereas the guys that are like, I have approach anxiety, that means something is wrong. I can't proceed until I feel okay. And this is not most men, because I work them out of this. Like, I think we get about maybe, I'd say 5% of guys that I work with, they can't get past this. And we end up having to do even more work together. Sometimes I coach them for free for extended periods of time simply because they can't get past this. But you've got some guys that are like, I can't get past the anxiety. The anxiety is too much for me. The approach anxiety means that something must be wrong with me. Remember the little stick figure, this is bad. I have anxiety. I can't do it. And because they say, I'm not good enough with my anxiety, then there's a block and they don't get results for a very long time. But the guys who are like, I have fucking anxiety, that's okay. I feel like shit. Let me go meet this girl. I feel horrible. Hi, girl. I feel terrible. The girl's like, haha, that's funny. What's your name? Boom. Approach anxiety gone, right? So fighting anxiety causes an internal struggle that is significantly difficult like to beat. You can't beat an internal struggle. When the battle's in your mind, you're not gonna fucking win. This is not even you competing against yourself. This is a war in your mind. So the first step is stop fighting your anxiety. The second thing you can do is, this is after you learn to stop fighting it, here's what you do. You psychologically reward yourself for taking action with the anxiety. This is crazy. You psychologically reward yourself for taking action with the anxiety. And here's what you can do. You recognize and you confirm when anything good happens. That's what you do. So this is literally how I beat my anxiety. What I would do is I would approach girls with anxiety. I would have the anxiety, and every time I did an approach, I met a girl either in a park, maybe it was like some bar situation, maybe I was just out with some friends doing something, maybe I was in a cafe working, and I'd just say, oh, there's an attractive woman, maybe I should go say hi and connect with her, right? Instead of being in my shell. I'll make a move to actually connect with a woman and put myself out there. And what would happen is, in those moments where I did that, even though I felt the anxiety, I'd always come away smiling. Every single time, even if it was a rejection, maybe I got her phone number, maybe we set up something, right? No matter what it was, I would always come away smiling. I'd always come away happy. The reason why is because I wanted to reinforce, I didn't do this consciously, but this is what got me better with women and made me like have a kick-ass dating life over the next several years. What I wanted to do was reinforce that I can meet women even with anxiety and nothing will stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me. It's not my anxiety that's controlling me. I have the willpower to do what I want. So what happened is my anxiety no longer became a problem. It just became a thing that was there. I'm telling you, some of the top performers in the world, the top performers, athletes, musicians, stars in the world, actors, they have anxiety as well. It's not just you as a guy in your own little world who's like, I have approach anxiety, I can't talk to women. No, there's a lot of amazing performers out there who have anxiety before they perform. There's stories about this. There's stories of celebrities going out to perform in front of large crowds, athletes going out for a championship game or even a regular game in front of stadiums of tons of people. And what happens in those situations? They have anxiety, but what do? They say, I have the anxiety, but it means something great's gonna happen. It means I'm about to perform. It means that the people are gonna love me. It means I'm about to make some amazing memories for the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that have come out to see me perform. So it's the same thing in dating. You need to reframe it. When you feel the anxiety, it means something good's gonna happen. Whenever I go out and I meet women and I'm with clients, if that's where my anxiety comes out. I'm with clients, I'm like, fuck, I've gotta perform. I wanna make sure the guys get a great experience working with me, and I wanna make sure that I show them some amazing interactions so they can learn from my behaviors and what I do. When I go and talk to that beautiful woman standing in the corner on her phone, and I've got two guys that pay me thousands of dollars watching me, what do? I could either say, okay, I have to walk around, go do another shot to feel good. Fuck that. I say, I feel weird. I feel anxiety. I feel that all bottled up inside. I express that out loud, and then I say, this is gonna be fucking amazing. And I go up with the anxiety. What happens? Most of the time, sometimes it doesn't, but almost all the time, it fucking works out amazingly. And even if it doesn't, by the way, you know what's even crazy? When girls aren't attracted to me, when they don't like me necessarily, the interaction always goes well even then. And I'm just like, oh yeah, we're not connecting. And she's like, oh no, I'm sorry, but I have a boyfriend. That's it, done. And my clients are like, holy shit, that was amazing, man. How did you connect with her? I'm like, bro, she wasn't even that into me. But because my anxiety doesn't own me, I still have it. I'm just aware of it. And this is actually a very deep spiritual principle, but I know that may not resonate with not everyone who's looking at this. So that's kind of for my deeper teachings that I reserve for clients. But this is like a very deeply spiritual principle. If you can accept the state you are in and say, I will not fight it, I will not go to war in my own head, that is how you transcend approach anxiety. That's how you transcend and get to the next level where it does not own you. And here's number 3. This is a bit more of a technical process that I'm going to give you that you can use to change your life literally today. This shit will fucking change you, brother. Rapid desensitization. Rapid desensitization. This means desensitizing yourself, making it where communicating with a woman, attracting women is literally so second nature to you, it feels like breathing. And this is what it's become to me. Don't forget, I want to give you an example. Why is it that I say that on programs I'll feel anxiety, whereas if I'm just out with friends doing nothing, I don't feel anxiety? The reason is because on programs, there's an attachment to I want to do a good job for my clients. Whereas if I'm talking to women for myself, I feel nothing. Like I feel fucking nothing, bro. Like you have no idea how little I feel. The reason is because I've been through this process so many times and I have so much reference within the action taking that I do not actually care what happens. And also 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, it goes really well. Doesn't mean that I sleep with the girl, but it goes super well. It's a positive interaction. Maybe we'll get a bit physical. I often set up a date. We connect on social media, things like that, or we do end up getting intimate, or I introduce her to my partner, So the reason this is so powerful, rapid desensitization, is because it gives you superpowers. Now, here's what I'll say. There's another side of this. There's a lot of guys in the dating community, especially what they call the old pickup community, which I'm not a fan of at all. But there's a lot of guys in that community, especially like in mainstream coaches, who will teach. This is more back in the day. Now people teach more of a kind of a self-development style. But back in the day when I was getting into this, it was like, go out and approach 50 girls a fucking week, 20 girls a day, be out all the time. That's not what I mean when I say rapid desensitization. Here's what I mean. Take action, massive action, in a short, fixed time period. So what I'll tell my clients is I'll say, hey, you should have 2 nights where you go out and you talk to quite a few women, maybe talk to 10 girls a night, just for 2 nights. It's not everyone, but some clients who are going through a lot of approach anxiety, I'll say talk to 10 women, get destroyed, have her not like you, get blown out. That's totally cool, but get desensitized. Then what you do is you take the next 3 weeks and you only got once or twice a week again, but talk to 3 to 4 girls this time. And you actually enjoy the interaction. You don't talk for the purpose of numbing yourself, but you have these short interval periods, these short fixed periods of time where you take massive action. Number 2, part of rapid desensitization is start having regular intervals to take action. So you shouldn't be taking action over 3 fucking months. Whenever I see a guy who's like, yeah, man, I've been spent the last 3 months hammering out approaches, I'm like, bro, listen to me. You either, because a lot of the guys most of the guys I work with who come to me, like, earn quite a bit of money. So they're not guys who are not successful, but their relationship to women doesn't serve them. And the way they see it is, I approach women because of the game, because of pickup, because I've got to do more pickup, because that's my identity, right? So I tell them I'm like, my friend, let go of that and have intervals where you're like, time to invest time in crushing with women, and then let go of that for a bit, still crush it, but focus on relationship building and connecting. Then maybe you have a phase where you say, I'm going to go 2 weeks, I'm going to meet a bunch of women in a short amount of time, then I'm going to let go again, build relationships, introduce girls to each other, focus on social life, keep adding to the business, hire some new people, maybe go travel a bit and focus on your spiritual life, right? So you have to have fucking balance. This is what's important. So I want to tell you, rapid desensitization is very powerful, but it only works if you do it in intervals. Because if you do it too much, it's going to become an identity and you will be the fucking weird pickup artist. And you don't want to be that. Trust me, I know guys who have gone down that rabbit hole, and they're the same creepy motherfuckers that are in New York City that I see when I go back there to teach live programs. I see them in the clubs wearing the same fucking outfits that they were 4 years ago. And I don't want that for you. I want you to grow past that. I want you to transcend. Okay? I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you get it. This is how you beat approach anxiety. This is how you get past it. I used the wrong language, not how you beat approach anxiety, how you transcend it, all right? I'm used to always saying this. Number one, the problem is not like beating approach anxiety. That it actually is what you do wrong. Let go of that. You don't have to beat approach anxiety. You become one with it. You understand it is with me. I feel anxiety. That is okay. I don't need to beat the anxiety. It's there. I can still meet a girl while feeling nervous as fuck. I'm not a worse version of myself if I feel nervous while meeting a woman. Understand it. There's 2 kinds of anxiety, the identity and the status base. Know which one you have. Why does it happen? Know why it's happening. Understand the psychology of it. Go back and watch that section again in the video if you have to. And then how do we navigate past it? Stop fighting it as number 1. Don't make it a war in your head. Reframe it. Realize, hey, if I have anxiety, this means I'm going to take action and something great's going to happen. And then create intervals where you actually handle the anxiety over a brief period of an immersive period of time, then let go, and then go back to calming it down, chilling, and focus more on connection and more meaningful relationships. Doesn't mean you got to get into a long-term relationship or do that if you meet the right girl, but then you go back into handling it, intensity, wake yourself up, and then enjoy the results, allow them to come up and grow with you, right? That's how you do this. This is some mastery shit, brothers. I'm putting out so much amazing fucking training on this channel. So again, if you're here at the end and you haven't subscribed, or you're like too lazy to log into your Google account and fucking subscribe, but you've made it to the end, man, it took me a fucking while to make this training and actually plan how I'm going to teach this. So I have fucking earned your subscribe if you're here at the end, and you better press that button. Otherwise, I fucking love you. You're amazing. Have an amazing day, and I'm going to see you on our next training. Okay, take care, brother. Keep crushing it in life.